Hello and welcome everyone. My name is John O'Brien. I'm with the Keystone Contractors Association, and today kicks off the 2021 Construction Opioid Awareness Week. Today being July 26, 2021. And we wanted to do something special. Every year we try and build off of this Awareness Week, to help our workers in the field, help our contractors, just help the entire industry with this major issue that we're facing and all the addiction battles that we're facing. So this year, to kick it off, we have an awesome guest who's going to talk about all the great things they're doing, and that's Joe Scaletti from Carpenters Local 254. Sorry, I had to look at my notes for once. Local Union 254. Joe's going to talk about Carpenters Who Care. But before we jump into that, I wanted to do a little demonstration here. Since opioids have really been plaguing our industry and hurting our workforce, I thought we could kick off the 2021 Construction Opioids Week by kicking a little opioid ass. What do you say we down some here? So I have 2 bags of Deterra. Deterra is a drug deactivating system. I have 2 bags, and the reason I have 2 bags and the reason I need 2 bags is last Tuesday, 6 days ago, I had shoulder surgery in my right shoulder, and the doctor prescribed me 28 opioids, hydrocodone. I did not take any. It was painful, but just said a few prayers and I got through it. So I've never used these bags. I was given these bags, I think shortly before the pandemic hit last year, so early part of 2020. And I knew for some reason in my mind they would come in handy. And who knew we were going to use them to kick off the opioid week. But here we go. It's real simple. Even an Irishman like myself can do it. I'm just going to open the bag like so. We're going to fill it full of water. And then you'll hear it bubbling. And we're going to dump in half the opioids in one bag. That looks about half. Then we seal it. Seal it. Bag number 2, we'll get the second batch of opioids. There you go, just dump water, nice and easy. And it's bubbling, a little more water. Oops. Seal it. Wait 30 seconds and you are able to throw it away. So bye-bye opioids. No opioids in this body here. So hopefully others from the industry will join me in keeping up the good fight against opioids. But now to the real reason why we're here tonight. We're here to hear Joe. We're going to hear Joe Scaletti, hear his story, and most importantly, hear about all the great stuff he's doing with the Carpenters Who Care. So welcome, Joe. How's it going?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, glad you could join us and glad you wanted to volunteer and say a few words this week. So who's Joe Scaletti?
Joe Scaletti is a carpenter out of Central New Jersey, local 254. Been a member for over 18 years now. I've started my apprenticeship and worked my way up through journeyman and onto foreman and so on and so forth. But it's been a great journey going through the union. It's provided my family a wonderful way of life, the brotherhood and everything else. So it's a lot of fun.
Nice. And your role, you're in the highway side in the role, but then outside of work, your work never ends as a union carpenter and you're helping your brothers all the time.
Yeah, we back in 2017, I got asked to go to a meeting down in Philadelphia, and they were having a lot of problems with members throughout all the trades that were dying on job sites from the opioid addiction and abuse. And so I asked to come down to this meeting down in Philadelphia. Mike Hand was the assistant EST at the time, and he asked me to come down and talk about this, figure out what we could do. At that point, there was a whole bunch of other gentlemen in the room, which I'll leave their names out of it. But what we did was we came up with an idea to have a meeting, a member-to-member assistance program. And right from the get-go, we kind of, went towards the Opioids Anonymous program of it. But I figured it was pigeonholing us too much. Some people were, didn't like that, so we got away from that. I didn't want to pigeonhole the whole program. So what I did was I took some of the AA side of it, the NA side of it, some of the Opioids Anonymous, and I combined them into one group and using all three. So that way, any of our members, no matter what their addiction is, alcohol, drugs, opioids, whatever it is, they can come to this meeting and feel free to speak about whatever's bothering them at that time.
It's awesome. Good stuff. Yeah, our paths are kind of similar because we started the opioid week. We started talking about it in 2017 and really kicked it off in 2018. And I don't know about you, but it felt like we were making headway and we were trending in the right direction, but then 2020 hit and it kind of feels like we're back at square one. Do you have that feeling too? And
well, what I did was I have meetings set up right now in Philadelphia, downtown, Center City, Philadelphia, out in Allentown area. I have them all throughout New Jersey, 253, 254, 255. That's all of Jersey. And before everything happened with COVID and everything, my goal is to get at least one meeting in every local throughout our council. And our council consists of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, and DC. And to every single local throughout the council, I want to go to every local and start up a meeting, a face-to-face meeting. And we were doing really well with that until COVID obviously hit. So at that point, we had to pivot a little bit. And so what we do is we have it on Zoom. And we have people that come throughout the council and we meet once a week. And we have a discussion. People are having problems, newly getting sober or newly getting clean. We have people with some time in recovery. And we help each other through each and every day. Whether it's a problem on the job site, a problem at home, if they just feel like using, it's a support group and it's members to members who help each other through this.
Okay. So it's all the locals throughout all 7 states or 6 states in DC.
Right now, because COVID hit and I was unable to get to, now that things are, starting to actually open up a little bit more, I'm going to be traveling around to different locals, actually with the permission of, my EST giving me, I'm going to be asking for the permission to go to each local and speak to them and set up a meeting in that area and stuff like that. And once we do that, it'll really start taking off. But like I said, with COVID, it kind of, like you said, it slowed things down a little bit, but we're getting back into it. We never stopped meetings at all during COVID. Like I said, I brought everybody into Zoom. But in the next year, hopefully 6 months to a year, everybody will go back out to a face-to-face meeting where they can have them right there in their local areas.
Okay. How has management played a role? Contractors helped out at all, or have they assisted you in any way? Or
contractors are starting to hear about this now. They really, like I said, they're just hearing about it now. Some contractors do know about it. My union side of it, my EST, my local president, all of that, they have been totally supportive of it. They want to see it grow. It's going to be spoken at to all the council representatives in October, to all of them, because they really are on the front line. The council representatives and the shop stewards are really on the front line of all of this. They're the ones that see the guys on the job site who are struggling, the guys who aren't making it in, the guys who are, whatever it is, they're noticing a bad pattern. And I'm going to be educating them on what to do and to help them as well.
Okay. So kind of train the trainer, I guess.
Well, yeah, it's trainer to trainer, but it's more of, hey, if I'm a shop steward and I have a problem on a job with a guy who I know's, having a hard time with drugs or alcohol, I call my council rep. Now, my council rep then will say, hey, they can reach out to him off to the side and say, hey, why don't you give, Joey Scaletti a call? Maybe he can help you, something like that. It's just getting the word out and stuff like that.
Now in the past, I'm both, kind of labor management. In the past, it's been kind of, well, I want to hide this issue. I want to hide this addiction that I have. So it sounds like the leadership and the EST are on board with it, and they want to be more open and hear about these issues and help people, help their brothers and sisters out.
Absolutely. I mean, years ago, tail end when I started with the carpenters, but before that, it was normal for people on job sites to drink, and do all that partying and stuff like that. And, I hear a lot of the old timers talk about the afternoon break and stuff like that. But then it got to the point where, insurances got involved, people were getting hurt and stuff like that. And then the opioids really took off. It really took off. Guy gets hurt on a job, he gets pain medication for so long, but the pain's still there. So what does he do? He goes to heroin, or he goes to somewhere else on the street to get his stuff to make him feel better. Years ago, it was kind of taboo. You really didn't say much about this because everybody did it. The few guys who didn't do it, they kind of stayed off to their side. But, with this day and age today, everybody knows somebody who's struggling. Yep. That's how bad it's become. I mean, opioid deaths throughout the country are up, 20% last year. Yep. It's insane the amount of people that are suffering from this. And all we're doing is we're just showing them a pathway to recovery. That's what we're doing here.
Awesome. Yeah, we kind of had parallel kind of reactions as well from the contractor side. I moved here in 2016 and took over KCA, and kind of noticed the problem was more severe than I had thought. And I've seen a shift in management because I was really working on the executives saying, hey, look, this is a serious problem. And I don't know if they didn't want to accept it or if they felt like they would get a bad mark, with their rep, their company rep or whatever. So it just seemed like issues like this were not really talked about in the past. And now our biggest push is just to let people know it's okay to ask for help. Your workers look to you, keep the door open, communication open. So it's been a pleasant surprise, the reception that the way that the industry is changing. So.
And what's the beauty of this program, the Carpenters Who Care, the CWC, is we're a totally anonymous program. In other words, I know some members, brothers and sisters, they don't want to come out because they're afraid. They're afraid that, Big Brother might be watching, or a council rep might be watching, or someone up in management might be watching. That's why the Zoom right now, it's totally Zoom. The password has to come through me. Basically to make sure that they're there for the right reasons. And, we say it at every meeting, whoever you see here, whatever you hear here, it stays here. There's nobody taking attendance at this and everything like that. I don't want people to feel like someone's watching them. I want them to come in freely. This is your life you're thinking of, you're talking about here, and it's about saving your life right now. And, but I've always made it known to everybody, there is absolutely nobody watching, and I get questions all the time. How's it going? Oh, it's going great. Meetings are going good. That's all my bosses, my president, my local, Billy Sproul and all ask me, how's it going? It's going very well. Good. I mean, that's as far as it goes.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because you did mention EST a few times, during the conversation. So it's good to know that the word's not. I'm like, there's no negative backlash for attending these meetings. So, good stuff. It has to be awesome when you reach someone and someone comes for help and you see him turn the corner. It has to be amazing.
There's absolutely no better feeling. It's a day to day, it's one day at a time, you hear it all the time, it's, you have to have the willingness to surrender. That's really what this comes down to. You have to go to meetings. You have to, surrender to this disease. It's a disease you have. It's either alcohol or drugs or both. And it's to the point where, when people come in and they're struggling and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden you see them, like get nice and clear, and all of a sudden, their head starts getting clear. It's a great feeling, and the sad part about that is for every one person that comes in, how many more are dying out there, and there's only people that come into the rooms, it's only 8% that actually stay, for all the thousands of people that go to either AA or NA or Opioids Anonymous or whatever, only 8% make it, out of all those thousands of people that tried it. So that's why we really work with them. We help them get to meetings, we help them get a temporary sponsor. We help them all the way through because, they suffer from the same disease as the rest of us.
So you mentioned earlier, wards slowly getting out to the contractors, but perhaps I jumped ahead too fast there. Like, how's the word getting out to labor? Like, how are the carpenters hearing about this?
The carpenters are hearing through a lot of different ways. The CCT contractors, okay, they're going to interview on this. It just came out in a newsletter to everybody in the council about this program. For my local 254 and all the other locals that meetings are already been established in, they do is they send out text messages to all their members. If they're suffering, please give me a call. So the word is getting out there, and it's going to be getting out there more now that we're more face to face with a lot of our delegate meetings and stuff like that. The word is going to get out there even faster. We just had a delegates meeting a couple of weeks ago in Pittsburgh and talked to a whole bunch of people about it. And in October, I'm going to be able to speak to the delegate body as well as the council reps to really get this message out to everybody, and it's not so much the person who's there is going to hear it because they might not have a problem. Let's face facts. If you're an addict, or drug addict or whatever, you might not be there at that meeting, but the people who are there will then spread the message to the people that they know that need the help. And that's really where it's going to come from. We do a lot of stuff on computers, with websites and all this other stuff. But, let's be honest, a junkie's not looking at his computer every day. Let's just be honest about it, even if he has one. But it's getting the word out there. And that's why shop stewards and council reps are so, so important in this fight against this disease.
Okay, so the word gets out there. The carpenter might see the newsletter, or he might hear on a job site about it. What's the next step? Does he call you, or is there a number or email address, or how's this work?
Right now they call me. They call my personal cell phone number. It's not a council rep phone number. It's my personal phone number. They give me a call. I talk to them. They ask them how they're doing, what's going on. Some people just need to, we don't put people into rehab. That's not what we do. That's for the insurance world. Our insurance takes care of all that stuff. But if they're going into a rehab or if they're going into a detox, I make sure they have my number. When they get out, they give me a call. I can't look into who's going into rehab. That's all HIPAA laws and all that stuff, and I don't want to get involved in that. But when they come out and they make that first step, or before they go in, they make that first step and they call me and they reach out for help, they're calling my personal cell phone number. And then I talk to them. And, as long as I know that they're really want to get sober or clean and really want to change their life, I give them the Zoom information, and then I invite them to our meetings on Thursday nights and, make them feel comfortable and answer questions for them and, start them on their road to recovery.
Okay. Oh, so it's one, is it one Zoom for the entire council?
Right now I had to do it that way, because when COVID hit, we all lost our spaces to have meetings, our face-to-face meetings. So what I did was I brought everybody to Zoom, and it just made it easier. So everybody in Philly, 253, 254, 255, 167, there, and I have a couple down in DC, a couple in Virginia, 2 in West Virginia. These guys and girls, they all come. We meet on Zoom. But once in the next, I'd say probably 6 months or a year, we're going to go back out to our live meetings, to where, you know, you're going to go and you're going to have a meeting that will have one person per local or two people per local that will share a meeting. And whoever in that local then can go to that meeting. It's locally, it's right there. It might be members that they know real well, worked with them, they feel comfortable with them. You know, guys out in Pennsylvania or South Jersey or whatever, they might not know me, but these guys, when they go face to face, you know, that's when it really will start to take off, because, you know, it's, the meeting is great. Don't get me wrong, but there's nothing like sitting in a room and, you know, with a cup of coffee, hanging out with people and talking about recovery. And then afterwards in the parking lot, you know, trying to save a guy who's afraid of drinking and drugging again, who's afraid of dying, you know. So the face-to-face is super, super important, but we had to adapt and we had to pivot, and we came to Zoom and we made it work.
Awesome. Sounds good. So when it is back to face, I'm sure you'll need a lot of local champions at each local. You probably need champions, you know, kind of overseeing the meetings. And I know the perfect one for you in Pittsburgh, this union carpenter superintendent. I interviewed him a couple times, and he loves telling his story, and I'll have to connect you two afterwards. So
absolutely love to meet him.
Yeah, he's actually building a recovery home. They have one for men only. Now they're trying to get fundraising to build one for women only, and you guys would probably be best friends. So he's awesome. He's my best friend. I love talking to him.
There you go.
Yeah. So this is great, and you know, it's called Carpenters Who Care, but it does go beyond carpenters. Is that correct?
Yes, it does. It goes to all trades. It really does. You know, it goes to the electricians, the iron workers, fitters, whoever you are out there. You know, if you're struggling, call me. You know, or, you know, even if you're not struggling, you know, and you're a union member or whatever, and you have a brother, a daughter or a sister, you know, a son, whatever it is, grandson, granddaughter, and they're struggling, we're all family. You know, it doesn't matter what trade we are. You know, we're all one brothers anyway. But we help each other. We help each other. And so we do open it up. We do open it up to different trades if they need to help, you know. I mean, carpenters started this, like I said, back in 2017. We started really kicking it off in 2018. But it's for all trades, you know. So, you know, if there's anybody out there who has another guy who's in a trade or gal who's in a trade, besides the carpenters, don't let the name just scare you away. We're here to help everybody.
That's great. Good to hear. Is there anything that groups like the Keystone Contractors and the other management groups, anything that we can do to assist and help?
Just get the word out. Just get the word out. You know, that's all I ask. You know, it'll start taking off more and more. Just get the word out to everybody. If there is someone who's struggling, you know, have them call me. You know, like I said, we don't put people into rehabs. We're not into all that stuff. And, you know, if someone calls me and they want to go to rehab, they got to call their insurance, and that's the insurance takes care of that. We don't do that. You know, I'm a guy who works out in the field each and every day. I'm not a council rep or anything like that. You know, I put my boots on every day and I'm working out in the field. So, you know, it's a member to member, but we have all different types of members throughout, you know, who are involved in this as well.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we're definitely going to get this video out, and I'll work with Frank to get some more literature and some other documents out there, just so people know who you are and you're there to help. So
Yes.
Awesome cause, awesome efforts. This is amazing. Any other comments you want to make?
I just want to tell everybody out there, you know, you hear a lot of things on TV, you know, about drug addiction and stuff like that and alcoholism. I'm doing this because I care, but more importantly, I'm doing this because I'm one of them. You know, I got sober at 19 years old. I'm sober over 28 years now. And, you know, I've had ups and downs and different things like that. But, you know, the program of AA and NA has saved my life. It really has. And for me, you know, if I can give back a little bit for all the wonderful things that have been freely given to me, it's so worth it. We're not going to be able to save everybody, and we understand that. But if I can do all this and save one person, then it's definitely worth it, because, there's a lot of people dying out there tonight. We're all going to, hopefully get done with this, may have a little dinner, cup of coffee, and, go to bed. And there's a lot of people who are wondering where their loved ones are tonight. They're dying because of this disease. So, like I said, I don't just sit here and just talk about it and stuff because I read a bunch of stuff about it. I live this. This is my life. Like I said, I'm sober over 28 years now, and I just want to give back. I just want to give back to this organization, the Carpenters, who I love the Carpenters Union. They've treated me great, and given me a wonderful life between my sobriety and the Carpenters. So this is the least I can do.
Awesome. Well, your story is inspiring, and we need to spread the word to make sure others get inspired, and you can help them. And I'm sure there's just as many there's tons of inspirational stories within the Carpenters Who Care. So sounds awesome. And we're always here to help. If you need anything, just give me a call.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. And I'll get your number and all that good stuff. I'll get it out there, and we'll spread the word.
Thank you.
Yeah. Before we depart, any questions from the audience? Comments? Hearing none, I just really want to thank Joe for his comments today, and especially thank you for your efforts with the Carpenters Who Care. It sounds like an amazing group I need to learn more about and get the word out and spread the word. And thanks for kicking off this year's Opioid Awareness Week. Along with this live video that's happening right now, we also published, I think, 20 videos, and there's real life stories from recovering addicts. There's different resources that are out there, all sorts of different videos that are out there that are really awesome. So we're going to keep spreading the word that way as well. So thank you, Joe. Enjoy your evening, and I look forward to speaking with you many times in the future.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.